Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hunter x Hunter Institute, the perfect place for us Hunter x Hunter fans to do some research and speculations about our favorite series. And our character for today, Pariston. What are your thoughts about the former vice president of the Hunter Association? Pariston is quite memorable, with his mysterious smile. One of his charms is that it's not easy to read what he's usually thinking. With that poker face expression always on his face, even the top hunters can't tell what's on his mind. In this video, let's do a detailed analysis of Pariston. To make it more fun, let's also speculate the thing Ging said, Pariston's 2 compulsory choices. Let's enjoy this video together until its end. If you're thinking, I like Pariston, then go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you know what's going on inside Pariston's head, then share it with us in the comments. But if you're also one of us who thinks, what's he thinking? Share that in the comment section too. Don't be a Pariston and let us know what you're thinking about. With that said, let's start. 1. Who is Pariston Hill? If you already know Pariston and don't really need an intro about him, feel free to jump to this timestamp for the main discussion. Pariston, he served as the former 12th vice chairman. He also got elected to be the 13th chairman of the Hunter Association, but he immediately resigned from that position. He was also a former member of the Hunter Association's High Council, the Zodiac 12. He represented the Rat. He first appeared together with the other Zodiacs in the series just as the Chimera Ant arc reached its end. They were to have the meeting for the election of the next chairman since Netero unfortunately did not survive his fight with Meruem. Including Ging, all the members had gathered for the meeting on time. Well, all except for Pariston, who came in late with an insincere apology. As a cherry on top, he told them that he himself was running for chairman, so there was no need to continue the election. We can see how the rest of the Zodiacs felt about this based on their reactions. Needless to say, they were not so happy about his proposition. As Payan called him Kickback Prince, she also pointed out that the temp hunters were becoming Pariston's slaves. She didn't seem to have a good impression about the temp hunters since she also called them weaklings. A temp hunter is a hunter who makes a living by only accepting jobs that the Hunter Association have contracted from governments and companies. Regardless of whether the job ends in success or failure, the temp hunters are guaranteed to receive a certain amount from the Hunter Association. The amount they receive depends on how risky and difficult the job is. It seemed that Pariston received a referral fee by arranging jobs for them, thus his new nickname, Kickback Prince. He insisted that it was a misunderstanding and that he's using it as a system to get funds for the association's growth. Do you think he's telling the truth? Suspicious. Mizayastum cut in by pointing out that ever since Pariston became the vice president, in those 3 years, 18 hunters had gone missing. When it comes to being a hunter, going missing is more unnatural than dying from strange reasons. It appears that before Pariston came in the picture, the average of hunters missing was 0.6 people per year, which was 10 times lower than it was when he became the vice president. When Pariston became vice president, many hunters had gone missing. With an eerie smile that didn't seem to have any concern about the situation, he responded, I think that the numbers will decrease if I become the chairman. Mizayastum was not very happy to hear his answer. Though Pariston was not well liked within the Zodiacs and he was surrounded by bad rumors, he did have remarkable achievements. He had been promoted as a triple-star hunter, just like Cheadle and Botby. Considering that there are only 10 hunters who are considered as triple-star hunters, it's a title reserved for top-class hunters. For a hunter to be given this title, they are strictly required to achieve a number of historical discoveries and get world-class achievements. While it is unknown what kind of hunter Pariston is and what achievements he got to deserve this rank, he is a certified triple hunter, former member of the Zodiacs, former vice chairman of the Hunter Association, and the head of around 200 temp hunters. With these titles, wouldn't you think how powerful he must be? After leaving the Zodiacs and resigning from his post as the chairman of the Hunter Association, he started working as a member of the Dark Continent Expedition led by Beyond. At first, he was playing the role of number 2, but of course, Ging entered the scene to make it more fun and took over that position. This time, they're heading towards Dark Continent with Ging guiding them. Wasn't it very exciting to see Ging getting in action and having Pariston acknowledge him as number 2? 2. Pariston's personality. He's the type of person who only thinks about enjoying himself. One of Ging's opinions about Pariston is this: that guy just wants to have fun, same as me and Netero. Who knew Ging thought like this? During the chairman election, Ging pointed out to Cheadle that the main reason Pariston was strong was because he wasn't really trying to win or lose like them. Pariston was just simply having fun. When Beans told Ging about how he wanted him to take over the position of the chairman, Ging replied to him, what I want is to inherit the old man's will. Just that. I want to enjoy the journey, that's all. When the chairman election arc was reaching its end, Ging told Cheadle, among the 4 people left, only Pariston inherited Netero's will. Cheadle wasn't very impressed hearing this, but I guess truth can hurt. In other words, Ging acknowledges the fact that Pariston was similar to him. Pariston also said to Ging, people who think similarly despise each other. While the two of them are similar in some aspects, they have one important difference. Where Pariston finds it fun to hurt others, Ging certainly doesn't. 3. Pariston's and Ging's connection. There was a scene when Ging said, "My connection with Pariston is a little bit complicated." That's an understatement, don't you agree? This connection has not yet been clarified, but when Ging joined the Dark Continent expedition, he said that his initial goal there was to cooperate with Beyond and to deter Pariston. Ging also talked about Pariston. He certainly has a lot of things to say about him. If you're just bragging about your strength, I'll beat you up and get it over with. But it's not like that, so getting involved is not good. It seems that he's extremely cautious about Pariston. Are you also curious about what happened in the past between these two? So are we. It would be great to see some scenes where they first get to know each other. But regardless of what happened then, we can say that Pariston is not just any ordinary person. A genius such as Ging have been watching him closely after all. 4. Pariston's two forced choices. After Netero used the poor man's rose to finish the battle with Meruem, 100 large planes owned by the Hunter Association headed to East Gorto. While there, they had gathered around 5,000 cocoons, and those were not just ordinary cocoons. They were hybrid cocoons that the Chimera ants had left. According to Ging, all those cocoons have probably hatched already. To make matters worse, it's most likely that they all possess Nen abilities. Can you guess who the mastermind was behind this? Of course, it was none other than Pariston himself. This meant that Pariston is in the position to take control of over 5,000 Chimera ants that can use Nen. 5,000 Chimera ants with Nen abilities. We can see why Ging was so cautious about Pariston. When the chairman election ended, the Zodiacs had captured Beyond. Later on, the Zodiacs contacted V5, the 5 main leaders of the world. They had now become V6. The V5 said that they would allow Beyond to accompany them for the Dark Continent expedition if they would be under the supervision of the Hunter Association. Pariston had given them 2 forced choices based on the decision they make about the Dark Continent expedition. But regardless about what they chose, Pariston cunningly made the choices so that he would be able to use the 5,000 Chimera ants no matter what. Basically, the Hunter Association had 2 choices. Choice 1. In response to Beyond's provocation, they will head to the Dark Continent together with him. If the Hunter Association opts for this, Pariston plans to spread the Chimera ants all over the world. For Pariston, this choice would be rather boring because it would mean that the supposedly elite Zodiacs would just be following what the V5 wanted. Because of this, Pariston decided that the Hunter Association was no longer fun to play with. What fun are they after all if all they do is follow what was told of them? If they are this boring, then he would just look around the world to find a new partner to play with. Choice 2. The Hunter Association will not accompany Beyond. Instead, they will take an irregular route to go to the Dark Continent and then hunt Beyond from there. If they decide to choose this, then Pariston intends to send the Chimera ants to the Hunter Association. To be more specific, he will let the 5,000 Chimera ants take the Hunter test. What is he thinking? Have them become hunters, and then build the Hunter Association from top to bottom with just Chimera ants filling the posts and move freely. If the association goes against the V5, then it means that they still carry some of the former chairman Netero's will. It would be exactly what Netero would have chosen to do. If they are still this interesting, then Pariston wants to continue playing with them. In short, choice 1 means the Hunter Association is boring and not worth playing with anymore, so he will look for another playmate by spreading the Chimera ants all over the world. He's bound to find someone more interesting than that kind of Hunter Association, right? Choice 2 means the Hunter Association is still interesting and still worth playing with, so he will play with them using the Chimera ants. Sounds quite fun, right? Well, at least for Pariston it seems to be fun. Regardless of their final choice, the Hunter Association is bound to see the 5,000 Chimera ants. The only difference would be their location, all around the world or all around the Hunter exam. Must be tough for the members of the Zodiac. This is what Ging calls Pariston's 2 forced choices. If the Hunter Association decides to be brave and go against the V5, then he would love it so much, which means that he would want to hurt them by sending his love in the form of 5,000 Chimera ants. Tough love. Or perhaps we can call it Pariston's twisted love. Wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that. In the end, the Hunter Association has chosen choice number 1, follow what the V5 wants. They would be reacting to Beyond's provocation and head for the Dark Continent with his lead. Surprisingly enough, we have yet to see Pariston take any action despite the Hunter Association's decision. When is he supposed to release the 5,000 Chimera ants so that he could play with them? Ging calls this the X Day. When is the X Day? It was scheduled to be the next Hunter exam day, or so that was what Ging thought. When the day of the Hunter exam arrived, nothing really happened. There were no signs of any Chimera ants at all. What happened to Pariston's desire to play using the Chimera ants? It is most likely at this point, Pariston decided that the Hunter Association was boring enough. For him, they might have been so boring that they didn't really deserve getting the results of the 2 forced choices. He might have canceled his plan of scattering the Chimera ants all over the world. Remember the conversation that Pariston had with Cheadle? He said that he didn't really want to be the president, even though he ran for chairman. He revealed that he took on the role of the vice president just so that he could get in the way of Netero. Unexpectedly, we see Pariston with the sad expression on his face as he said, "I wanted to play with the chairman more." He must have really enjoyed being with Netero. Because his best playmate Netero was gone now, he was trying to decide who his next playmate will be. Who's going to be his next playmate? Will it be the Hunter Association? Will it be another person? It seems like he was planning to use the 5,000 Chimera ants to make a decision. At that time, Ging appeared and told Pariston, "From here on, I'll play directly with you until you tell me to stop." Don't you think Ging was trying to tell him, "I'll be your playmate, so you don't activate your 2 forced choices"? Aw, Ging. When Ging said, "Include me too," we see Pariston show a somehow happy expression. It seems like Pariston had accepted Ging's offer, and is currently in the process of observing what tricks Ging can do. I think Ging's sudden involvement put his decision regarding what to do with the 5,000 Chimera ants on hold. With Ging talking about the 2 forced choices, Pariston seems to be enjoying it. Isn't this a good thing? Now that Ging has become his new playmate, the current situation has become more fun. And since Ging had become the Dark Continent Expedition's number 2, Pariston has some secured source for his daily need of fun. What kind of actions Ging would have to do sounds interesting. With this, there's no need to worry about what Pariston is going to do that involves Chimera ants. In summary, Pariston had spent 3 years as the vice chairman of the Hunter Association so that he can have fun with his best playmate Netero. But with Netero passing away, he had to make the decision as to who his next playmate will be. By coming up with the 2 forced choices, he has 2 options for his new playmate: the Hunter Association, or someone fun enough to get involved with the Chimera ants. But the outcome ended up not included between those 2 options. He found a new playmate, and his name is Ging Freaks. This guy is much more interesting than the other 2 candidates in his 2 choices. With Ging around, Pariston has no need for the other 2. Ging and Pariston. Both of them feel the similarity that they have. They acknowledge each other's abilities. One thinks, to be loved and to love, that's when I feel happiness, a genius. While the other thinks, it's when people hate me that I feel happiness, a brute. Right now, the focus of the series is the succession war on the Black Whale. Ging and Pariston's story hasn't been continued, and we fans might wait for a long time before we find out what happens next. I'm sure there are a lot of fellow fans who are looking forward to see the showdown between these 2 people. Very similar, yet very different. One of the temp hunters, Bill, who was working with Kurapika to protect 14th Prince Wobble and Queen Oito, shared to them some methods to escape the threat of the succession war. Method 1. It requires Pariston's cooperation, and that is difficult. Method 2. It requires Beyond's cooperation, and that is more difficult. It hasn't been revealed yet what exactly Pariston's ability is, but from this, we can guess that Pariston might have some role to play in the succession war. Perhaps we'll be able to see him in this arc? We're excited to see how the succession war will unfold, and we're also excited to see what's next for Ging and Pariston. Do you also feel the same excitement, fellow Hunter x Hunter fans? With this, we have speculated in detail Pariston's 2 compulsory choices. What are your thoughts about these? We'd love to hear what you think, not only about these 2 characters, but about Pariston. So do share them in the comment section below. If you like Pariston despite how twisted he might be, and if you're excited to see him back in the series, then you're definitely already part of the Hunter x Hunter Institute. We're going to give you your own 2 compulsory choices. Choice 1, hit the subscribe button and we'll release more Hunter x Hunter related videos. Choice 2, don't hit the subscribe button and we'll release more Hunter x Hunter related videos. Well, either way, the world is bound to receive more videos from our channel. We'll continue spreading the interesting world of Hunter x Hunter with these videos. If you want to join us with this venture, choose choice 1 and hit that subscribe button. And with that, we hope to see you again in the next video. See you, fellow Hunter x Hunter fans.